And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Monopoly, the game there are so many versions of. And now we have Monopoly Star Wars. Although this one is based on a new movie coming out in December 2015. Is it different than the other Monopolies? Is there any Monopolies that are different? Well, yeah, actually, folks, there are good Monopolies and there are normal Monopolies. And then there are horrific Monopolies. Which one is this one? Is it just a cash grab? Let's look. Now this game, each player is going to control either a light side character or a dark side character, and you are on teams, sort of. Each of you is going to take a card that matches your symbol, and you'll see there's two different symbols for the rebels and two different for the dark side. So what you'll do to win the game, at the end of the game is over when every property on the board has been claimed by one of these markers. So you're going to count the markers for each side. If there are more red markers, then the red guys win. If there's more blue markers, then the blue guys win. But then you count the number of each one from the winning side, and whoever has more from that side is the winner. So you might have the most of any of the four players, but if the other guy on your team is doing poorly, then you still may not win the game. Now this game plays with typical Monopoly rules for the most part, other than the winning victory condition. On your turn, you roll dice, and you move that many spaces. And then wherever you land, something happens. If you roll doubles, you get to go again. You continue to go, but if you roll 3 doubles in a row, you go to jail. If you're in jail, you must pay $100 to get out, or you can roll doubles to get out. If you don't roll doubles after 3 turns, you must get out. Some of the spaces on the board, this one sends you to jail. Free parking does nothing. If you land on a property, each property has a cost. You'll notice this property here costs 60. It's one of the Kashyyyk properties. So if you buy this, you pay $60 for it. Anytime someone lands there, they pay $40. If all the sites on a planet are owned by the same color, then when someone lands there, they will pay double, $80. If it is your own color that you land on, so let's say Darth Vader here lands on my property, we're both red, so he only pays half the normal price. Then there are these card spaces here with the Millennium Falcon and a Star Destroyer. When you land on those, it depends what color you are. If you land on it and it is your color, you'll take the card, add it to your hand. You will be able to play the top part of the card later on. You also start with 3 of these cards in your hand. If you land on it and you're the other color, then you simply do the bottom part immediately. This says return your Empire cards to the deck, then draw the same number. You have to do that. Here, you can reveal this and pick one player to show you all the cards in their hand. And these cards can do a lot of different things, like swap the highest placed base with one of yours. You can buy any spot you land on for 100 credits. You can take 100 credits from everyone else. When you land on someone else's base, you collect the rent. The owner pays you. And here, you can just cancel a card that someone plays against you. So these cards will change a lot in the game. Another space that's on the board is this hyperspace here, hyperdrive space. When you land there, you can go to any of the unowned properties between that hyperdrive and the next hyperdrive, which you can then immediately buy. Remembering, as per typical Monopoly rules, if you don't buy a property, that property is put up for auction and whoever bids the highest will get that property. If all the spaces between the 2 hyperdrives are full, you go to the next one. So because there are 4 hyperdrives on the board, all the properties will eventually be bought. Then there's this very awesome bounty hunter spot here. If you land there, you can take any property you want for free, even from another player. Then there's the Trade Federation where you pay $200. Every time you pass go, you get another $200, and you keep going, as I said, until all the properties are taken by players. At that point, whoever has the most of whatever color has the most is the winner of the game. I really wish Hasbro would stop using this cheap, junky paper money. Blech. Alright, well, what does this have to do with Star Wars? Not a whole lot. Alright, you got the characters, they're cool miniatures, or painted plastic miniatures, and you got those little dual-sided pieces to show who owns what properties. Those are actually pretty nice pieces. With the one thing of, I wasn't able to instantly tell in most lighting the difference between the two on the same colors, like the two different Imperial symbols. You kind of had to like squint to remember which one was whose. I wish they made those a little bit more differentiated. That being said, this plays very different than Monopoly. This isn't about bankrupting someone at all. If you do go bankrupt in this game, which is possible, then you just basically give a property to the person who bankrupted you, which could have a snowball effect, and you probably will lose that way. But because the game ends when all the properties are done, and because there are 4 hyperdrive spaces, and a bounty hunter space, and cards that let you go to properties, I'm thinking the average time for this game is about 30 minutes. Yeah, you heard me right. A 30-minute Monopoly game. Now, that's the positive side. The negative side is that this does not, as far as I can tell, the rules don't have anything to do with trading. There's no trading the properties back and forth. So one of the actually key components to Monopoly, I believe, is trading. To see that gone from here, that's disappointing. But other than that, I like that the cards that you can keep to play them at the right time. That gives you some choice. Because most of the rest you're just rolling dice and go around the board. But I was surprised. I didn't hate this Monopoly. I was expecting to. And so because I didn't hate it, that's not the highest of praise. But actually, it's something I think kids would enjoy. Well, kids did enjoy it. I played it with my kids, and we had a good time going back and forth and stealing properties and money. And you get all that stuff that you remember fondly about Monopoly, and after 30 minutes, it's done and you put it away. So, hey, yeah, they threw a Star Wars theme on it, but it doesn't matter. This certainly isn't your parents' Monopoly, and that's a good thing. Dice Tower Judgment, one of the better Monopoly games.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.